Hey, Erin, how are you? Just trying to work through some stuff real quick here for you. A little bit about tomorrow. This is going to be a short video, but it will give you the lowdown on everything you've sort of already seen that has to do with the service for tomorrow. So I emailed you that sheet, that sort of order of service. I'm sorry about being so late. I have had tons of technical things I've been trying to work through, and they haven't worked that well. Anyways, I'm getting closer all the time. I'm not quite yet to this live thing, and I was trying to use this as a platform to do it with, but it's hard. Anyways, so if you have your children's order of service, the one I emailed you, or you can just listen, I don't think it's that hard. So the idea is the kids are going to come in, and instead of having some kid come late and sort of interrupting the flow of everything you're doing, we're just going to sort of start 5 minutes later in that venue that you're at. And so the countdown that we have available will be start at 10:30. So you're supposed to be there at 10:15, you and Bobby, and we're going to have some games for the kids to play. And so just remember that. They're going to be doing some different games and stuff as they go through that. Then at 5 minutes or 10:30, you put the 5-minute countdown. You sort of bring them together. And we're going to start by singing 2 songs, Move and What a Friend. Now, Abigail's still working on making sure there's some video that the kids know how to do the moves. I think they do mostly. And so especially Abigail Bentler is really awesome at this. So if you want to get her in front as the leader, I think that'd be smart. She just really likes to wiggle and squirm. Isabel's not as bold as her, but she could lead the songs. So Move and What a Friend are the first 2 songs. Again, this is all going to be on Media Shout, so you're basically just clicking, okay, as you go through. Now, you may get to a place where you want to move something around. That's your prerogative. And the videos that I do as far as the teaching is concerned, those are some things that you and Bobby may do live here in a little bit. I'll try to get stuff ahead earlier to you. But this is good. I think it's good for me to do it this way this time so you can see what I mean by a narrative and sort of ad-libbing a little bit in that. Then we're going to, we feel like, I talked to April, and we feel like it's really important that the kids build a little bit of community, that there's not a lot of talking time. And so we don't want to have too much and let them get them out of control, but sit them down in front of you, you and Bobby on chairs, them on the floor. We're looking for a big throw rug to put in there for them to sit on. What happened the previous week? Just let them share a little bit, not too much. You got to watch them. Some kids will just share and share and share. So let them think of one thing that they want to share from the week ahead, all right? And then we're going to do some memory work. Easy for me to say. Memory verse work. You try saying that. Memory verse work from the previous week. It's Luke 18:40 through 41. It's going to be on PowerPoint. And basically, every time you switch, you click it, it takes a word away. Okay. So you may need to know what Luke 10:40 through 41 is. We'll get a little clip of paper in there for that on you, so you can lead it, you and Bobby. And so we'll try to do that. We'll get 2 sort of copies that are left over from our midweek, I think. Leaders. I'm typing that in right now. Okay. So you'll have those copies so you don't look like a silly person leading some memory verse you don't know yourself as it's disappearing. And then I want you to sort of bring them back down a little bit after the memory verse. They can stand for the memory verse as they do that. Then you bring them back down, and then you're going to do a little bit of community discussion, which sort of sets up what we're doing here in the video teaching. Is that we want to have them discuss what's something that's got them down this week, something that's made them sad, something that's made them upset. You do this ahead of time, and you may be able to share with them something that's upset you or Bobby. Maybe Bobby could do that, sort of lead into and give them an example of something that sort of upset them. So it's just not sharing anything. Maybe something that sort of got them a little upset this week, made them want to cry or pout or whatever it might be. Then we're going to do a missional focus, and you got the video from earlier in the week, I hope you did, about what we're trying to communicate in our announcements, and just pick a few things. I feel it's really important that the kids and the adults are on the same page, and so we're actually doing the same message this week. And the bigger thing, we'll be doing Jacob as well. And so we're trying to keep everybody on the same point. That's one thing I've been wanting to do for a while. And you're the first time, and there's a lot going on for me to do this, but I think we're going to be able to make it. I think this is going to get easier as we go along. Thank you for being a guinea pig. If you're mad at me, please forgive me. Anyways, but then we're going to do prayer. Take praise reports first. What has something good happened in your life? Then take prayer requests. Limit them 1 per person. Tell them to think about it. You only get 1 because they'll give you 20 if you let them. Then pick 3 children to pray. Who would like to pray? Have them raise their hand. If none do, then a call on a couple. Say, would you like doing this? Would you like? And they don't have to be great prayers. And then as an adult prayer, don't make a long prayer when you close. There's somebody that needs to close. And then just have a quick closing prayer for them. Okay, you don't want to let that get too long. Now, see, we've had a lot of interaction back and forth already. After this, we're going to do Jacob from Genesis 28:10 through 22. I gave that to you, I think, last sometime to study. I'm trying to remember if I gave it to you or not. Anyways, I may have thought I did. But that's the story we're going to do. It's just 12 verses. I think in the video I say through 20, but it's 22 actually. And we're going to do a Jacob and Esau recap. I did this 2 weeks ago on student ministries, and so I recapped this, but I don't finish the last part. The last part of this is that Jacob and his mother get together to try to trick Esau and their dad. Esau's dad's dying, and Jacob and his mother go and try to act like they're Esau. He puts on goat's fur on his hands, puts on some clothes of Esau so he smells like him, and he prepares a goat instead of wild game for Jacob to have, Jacob and Esau's dad Isaac to have. And he tries to convince him that he's Esau, and he does eventually, and then Isaac gives Jacob Esau's blessing, and he can't undo it. And then he can't give a different one to Esau. He actually says that he's going to serve him. And this makes Esau really mad, and he wants to kill his brother, which leads into our story this week, which is Jacob running away. And so the very first segment, Jacob and Esau's recap, is you giving the kids time to sort of work this story out and see what they remember, what they can sort of idea. It orients them to what's happening here. Then I go on to sleeping on a rock, and I talk about Jacob running away and him having a bad time, sort of being down. He comes to this place in the wilderness, and he lays on the ground. I tell a whopper of a story of, what did I say? I mean, a crawdad biting part of his ear off, so he just put his head up on a rock to sleep. Now, that's all fake, and they know it, half of them already, but they'll have to work through it when they read the Bible, okay? So then after I sleep on the rock a little bit, I give everybody else an opportunity. There's some rocks in your room there that they can go and try to sleep on. Give them each a time, let them sleep on it, see how comfortable it is for them, and see if their ears are off the ground to make sure no crawdads get them and bite their ears off. Anyways, so this is just breaking the story up. And then they come back together. I talk about sleeping on the rock, waking up. I try to orient him. And the dream that he has a dream that there's angels running up and down a ladder. God speaks to him and basically says that what the covenant that was established through Abraham, which would have been his great-granddaddy, is now his opportunity. And it's his opportunity to live it. It's going to be fulfilled through him. And it talks of him taking the rock and then making a rock of worship, a rock of praise. So his distress turned into a worship opportunity is the focus of the story. Okay. So after you see this, after we're talking about worship, of course you're gonna have two songs where you worship: "Build My Life" and "Start a Fire." Excuse me. Abigail's pretty sure that the children know all about this going in. Then there's the Bible reading of the story, which you will sit down and read the Bible with the kids. There'll be Bibles in your classroom. Grab them, scatter them out. Make sure everybody can find it. Older kids with younger kids. Of course, the younger kids can't read. The older kids can, but whoever can read will be reading the best they can, all right? And you and Bobby can take turns to fill it out there a little bit. We only have 12 verses to read, so I don't think it's going to be that bad. The Bentlers read really well. Anyway, so we just want kids to be comfortable reading the Word of God. And then after they read it, okay, is there something that wasn't right? Now, don't let them say the answer out loud because they want to do that. Say, let's get in groups of whatever, 2, 3, 4, whatever you want to say. Let's talk about if there's anything wrong. So you give everybody else an opportunity to say what it is, okay? Then they come back and they report to you what's happening, what was wrong in the story, okay? You want to make sure that there was no crawdad. He just slept on a rock, okay? There was no crawdad biting his ear off, all right? But then you told them what was told correctly and see if they get the parts of the story. Sort of go through and say, this happened first, and this happened, and this happened, all the different parts of the story. And then I always like to put them, how would you have felt if you were Jacob in the wilderness? Maybe you can do that before you talk about the correct parts of the story. But somehow they got to put themselves in that place. Finally, the follow-up of it all, we're going to let them express themselves, which I think is really important. And we're going to have them do some different drawings. And so over on the table, you'll see some butcher paper. Or there may be some sheets of paper. I think I'm going to use a butcher paper, and you can cut it off in different pieces, rip it apart for them, but have each person dream a part of the story. So let them pick. Who's going to do the dream of the ladder? Who's going to do the dream of Jacob tricking their father? It's nice to have Esau, it's Jacob. tricking their father. Who's going to do the sleeping on the rock? What he was like when he's sleeping on the rock. Who's going to do the rock of praise? Who's going to do the house of worship? And so break it up into different teams and let them draw what they feel like it look like out there for that to happen. And it's amazing how they have these wonderful pictures that are much more detailed than you realize because they're so creative as young kids, not like us when we get older. And so this hopefully will take you to the end, the drawing, let them draw. If you have some extra time, you can let them play some games or some game they like playing Duck, Duck, Goose. They love that. That's an easy game. Something like that for them to do. Mother May I is a good one. Simon Says. All those games sort of work really easy for them if there's a little fill-in time. But I don't think there's going to be as you go through all this. And so a little bit is about me knowing how much to program in here. A little bit is about you learning how to work with me, which is really hard. My mom says I'm difficult. Anyway, so I just want to give you all this information, give it to you, and I will I guess let you know more later. Hopefully this is all coming to you. I hope you're not working too late tonight and are really mad at me now. Anyways, I am who I am. God bless you. You are loved.